Hello and welcome everybody to this Cloud Lunch and Learn session. I'm Dwayne Network, your moderator, and with me today is Kostas. I'll let him do proper introductions, but he's got a great, with everything that's going on with AI and generative AI and machine learning and all of those things. He's got a great session for us around Synapse PII data masking. So how to mask uh, personal information utilizing what appears to be Azure Cognitive Services. So looking forward to this session, and with that, I will turn it over to you, Costas.
Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Kostas Konstantinos. It's my whole name, Konstantinos Passadis. I'm coming from Athens, Greece. I'm an IT person for over 20 years. You know, IT is my profession, but it's also my love, my hobby. And I'm into cloud for the last 6, 7 years, mostly on Azure 365 and other cloud providers. Cloud was a breakthrough, and I tried to follow it. I'm still following. And today I'm happy to show you how we can mask personal identifiable data information if you want to. We're going to use a method of displaying how integration works and also how we are going to get our results. So we can break our session down into two different parts. The first part is how are we going to deploy the resources needed for this data masking to happen. And the second part is how we are going to apply a template from the Synapse Studio, a template already made for the job, but we have to modify this template and make it work for our case. So the first thing I'm going to show you is Terraform, right? We're going to use Terraform Cloud. You can use, of course, the Terraform provider from your laptop, from your PC, but you have also the ability to use Terraform as uh, from the cloud. Okay, you can have a free subscription. You don't have to pay a penny. You create your organization and workspaces where you can apply your configuration and different variable sets. So what I'm going to use is also VS Code for the code to be deployed and an Azure subscription. Let me show you now the VS Code. This is a standard Terraform configuration folder. You have the main TF providers and the variables uh, files. All right. So the first thing we have to do for cloud to authenticate is to create a simple file. The file is located in the app data, the environment app data directory of our desktop. If we're using Windows, there are other methods to discover where this should be uh, located. It is a specific file. So let me show you very quickly how we can find it here in Windows. It is located in app data, and it is in the roaming folder. The name is terraform.rc. Okay, let's have a quick look how it looks like. This is the file. Okay, we have to use this format, and you have to create a token. So from our Terraform Cloud portal, we can create our token. It's very easy to create a token. Once you create an organization and create your workspace, I have already have created our workspace for us to be able to quickly move through the deployment. You can create your API token here, and you can use it into the file I showed you earlier. So once you have created this file, you have to construct the file that will authenticate your PC to cloud of Terraform so you can run the deployments. The file is usually the provider's TF, but you can use any file and name it wherever you like. So this is how it looks, right? You have to make these changes here. So we're going to change here my organization. We're gonna see how my organization looks. It's this one, right? Let me copy here. This is the organization. And let's grab the name of the workspace. We're going to use this one. You see that I can have more than one workspace. Synapse, I will write it down. Right. I'm going to save my file. So it's that easy. Okay. Now I will uncomment this because I wanted to show you how it looks like, and I'm going to remove the other part. Okay, we have our providers file here ready on our laptop in the folder I show you. We went from Terraform into a used method, the most widely used method. So let us quickly create uh, a service principal for our deployment. This is my portal. I'm going to use Azure CLI, and I'm going to need my subscription ID, and I will assign this service principal the contributor role. Will be asterisks, and which is the original data. Will happen with one copy task. The copy task is just there for us to see how transformations to our files. We're gonna sync it via the data masking. So let's see our let's see our account here. This one is and we have to set uh, this one as the default. So we're going to use one more command. It's the AZ set count. This way we are setting the account the service principal. It will be created in the subscription we want to work on. Give it some time here because it's thinking. Yeah, I have reversed the command. I'm sorry for this. A Z account set. Right, this one you will see that the default have changed to the subscription we're going to work into. So let's create our service principal. And we can assign the role. I hope I'm writing correctly the command. And let me help myself here for fast for a little bit. Yeah, and we need the scopes. It is subscriptions and our subscription ID. Of course, we can add the name here into our service principal so we can distinguish it from other applications or service principal into our Azure directory. Give it a name. I think it's fine. I have a contributor. I have something not written correctly. I think the name is the problem. I'm gonna copy from correct one to know what's the problem now. Let me run this and grab my subscription ID. Probably have not something written correctly. Terra, you can find it on Azure Active Directory. So we're going to use this information in Terraform Cloud, where we can create a set of variables. We can create a variable set which will help us make our deployments. I'm going to edit this one. I have already created the two entries, ARM subscription ID, ARM tenant ID. I'm going to add another one, which is the ARM client ID. You can find all the details into the documentation. It is the ARM client ID. This is an environment variable. It is sensitive, and we can take it from our output from the deployment we ran earlier. This is the client ID. can add a description if you like. And finally, the last one, the ARM client secret. It is also available from the output directly. Of course, if you want to create another secret or token, if you like, from Azure Active Directory. This is also an environment variable and it is sensitive. Let me see we have everything written correctly. Yes. Great. Now, this variable set, it is applied to the default projects of this organization and to this workspace. We can apply our variable set to multiple workspaces. Now let's get back quickly to our Terraform file. So this is our Terraform file, and let's have a quick look here. We're starting with a resource group. I'm using a random string resource, which will create 5 random characters. It is easier for me to create resources and not fall under the problem with the naming. So I'm using some characters here. I'm putting in the middle the random string, and at the end maybe some numbers. We are creating here the data lake storage with a file system, right? The Synapse workspace. Again, let's change maybe some numbering at the end. Make it 2. I'm declaring the Azure Active Directory administrator, and I'm assigning a system assigned managed identity to the resource. We will see why. We have to add the 2 firewall rules. The one is the default one that will allow every Azure IP to connect to the workspace, meaning that every resource living in Azure will be able to connect. And another firewall rule named F-wall2 for the Terraform, allow all, it's the real name, allows us to connect from our laptop anywhere from the world, from any IP. Another storage account, which is in the tier of standard with a GRS replication type. Here we will upload our JSON file into this blob. I'm adding also directory into the data lake, and we're creating our cognitive services resource. The other part is not interesting, so this is really our file. We have to declare 2 more variables, which is the SQL login and the SQL password for the serverless cluster that Synapse is providing. Once we create a Synapse workspace, we have the ability to use a hidden resource. We're going to see it in the resource group of SQL. So let me save the file. Save the files, and let's create these 2 more variables into Terraform Cloud. So these variables can be variables of the workspace. We can add them as variable set. We can do whatever we like. Let's add some the variable here in our workspace. We have to be careful. The naming must be the same exactly as we declare them into the variables TF file. So it is SQL login. And I'm going to add a value here. The resource is going to be destroyed anyway. This is a Terraform variable, and it is sensitive. And I'm going to need another one, which is the secret, the password for the servers provided by Azure Synapse. It's also sensitive. It is a Terraform variable. So we have applied a variable set in the organization level applied into the workspace and two more variables for the specific workspace. These are declared also in our variables.tf file that we're going to um, deploy. Let's have a quick look again. I can change here the version. I think could be like this. Sorry, I'm not seeing very clearly here. I think it's 358. Let me have a quick look for the version. Allow me to have a quick look here. So we don't have to come back and make corrections, you know. You can leave it like this, or we can have the same. I think it's okay. Yep, 358 is the latest one. I think it will not have problem with the cloud. So I think we are ready. We have our main file, providers, the variables here. Everything is saved. Let's start our terminal and let's see how it goes. This is our deployment of the resources. First thing first, we have to initialize Terraform into our directory. If anything is wrong here, it will tell us. Now this command, as you can see, it says you can use 358 or later. So we're getting installed the 361 provided version here. Of course, you can have a Terraform validate here command. See if everything is all right. If anything is amiss here, you are going to see the message or where it is the problem. You can correct it. And finally, you can have this command as a format command. Now, let's make our plan. Quick look into the subscription before we plan. It is a demo 0623 subscription, Azure demo 0623. I can close this one now. Let me minimize. The only resource group I have created just to see that their subscription is fine is this one, so there's nothing else here. I have also created a cognitive services multi-service account because earlier in the end of 2022, you could not deploy from Terraform cognitive services because you had to accept the responsible AI terms and conditions. I think this is not the case anymore, but I just wanted to be sure, so I created a simple cognitive services account for this reason, so we don't have any problem. We have a problem here. The root module input variable SQL pass is not set. It has no default value. Let's see where is the problem. Yes, this is a problem. As you can see, it is communicating with Terraform Cloud and it is returning If something is amiss, we happily we saw it directly. You can understand where is the problem. I didn't declare the SQL pass variable. I used the SQL secret. So let's create it and let's run the plan again. Okay, now display the configuration, and I think we're going to be fine, and we will be able to apply the configuration, so the resources will be up and running very shortly. This is a brand new organization and a new workspace, so it has to initialize everything. You can see that I have created a lot of resources here, and it is the free tier of Terraform Cloud. It's quite useful, and you can use it for any project, any deployment you want. You know, you want to make a demo or you want to test something, and it has a new free portal which I have not yet tested, but you know, you can start using it and see the benefits of Terraform Cloud. Let's give it some time to finalize the plan, and then we can apply. Let me see if I can find the final version of our file, which is going to be given to us and how it looks. Yes. This is the result we are going to get when we complete our workshop. This is the output that we are going to get. This is the original text, the original file uploaded to the first storage account, and this is what cognitive services did for our data to be masked. Personal identifiable information masked, and here is the original data. Now, this is a useful scenario when you have an audit or you are working with external contractors, or there are regulations in the organization and you have to mask your data. And of course, the applications are many, and my demonstration here is quite simple, and we can ignore this message. It's quite simple, my demonstration, but the Synapse template is very useful, and we are going to see how easy it is to transform this uh, template. So we are going to apply now. Let's see what happens when we apply. Here we have already have been informed from Terraform Cloud that I have started a CLI triggered a run with the apply command. Right? Let me display this again. This is the information we're getting from Terraform Cloud. We have also the option, let me say yes here. We have also the option to confirm the apply from the Cloud console. So this is very useful when you are working with teams. A developer is deploying from his workstation, and you are the manager or a person responsible for the final deployment. You can have a final look and apply from the cloud console. So the deployment, when you set apply from your local workstation, freezes on the portal, and you have to accept, confirm, and apply is the message in Terraform Cloud. This is the auto apply switch that makes this change. All right. So whatever the developer does, you have the final say whether the final deployment will run or not. And you can do this from a portal. You don't have to connect to any workstation or create a pipeline and be able to connect to the pipeline or whatever. It's a very easy procedure for the final verification of the deployment. So we're getting now our resources created. We can see that our resource group has popped up here. We are going to see two storage accounts, a Cognitive Services multi-service account, and our Synapse Analytics workspace, which will also be followed by another resource group that it is strictly for the Synapse resources, where you can find the SQL server. Here is a same deployment from another subscription, Synapse Analytics. When you open this resource group, you won't find anything But if you activate this switch, you will find the SQL Server and the database, which is used in the Synapse workspace once you create a new deployment. So let me go back here. It is creating the Synapse. Looks that it's everything. It's going to be deployed as it should. When we assign the contributor role to the service principal for Terraform to be able to deploy resources in Azure, we can also, uh, add instead of the contributor role, you can also add the owner role. So you can assign also identity and access roles into your code. I didn't want to do that, so we can see how we can set some roles directly from the portal, and it is not a best practice because we have to use the least privilege you can, and even the contributor role is too much maybe. But for our demo, it is fine. In production environment, it is too much. You may have to break down the resources and assign the roles you want. I know it is hard, and contributor is the solution for this, at least when using the service principal. So what we're going to do when everything is created, we're going to add our user as a Synapse administrator, and then we will create the services. What I mean, we will create a REST API connection with the cognitive services. It is available as a direct connection from Synapse, but for this demo, I choose to use a REST API connection so we can see how this is made from Synapse to cognitive services. We are going to use this information here from cognitive services. It is and the token provided here in the resource management.
Oh, it seems we might have lost Costas from the stream here. Let's give a minute here. Okay, well, thanks to everyone that attended here today, and I'm going to end the broadcast now. And thank you for joining Cloud Lunch and Learn.